Hi, Andrew. First, I want to say I really enjoyed your post. You had a lot of good information, a lot of good topics. Um, I'm going to address a couple of them. I agree with you that one of the major ethical questions is how to maintain quality care during right sizing. Um, Healthcare didn't get this way overnight. Things such as where you had mentioned, such as healthcare reimbursement rates, payer mixes, have made the system non profitable and close to financially non viable. However, as the CEO, it's your job to make sure the healthcare facility is viable so that the facility can continue to serve the community. I also agree with you that cutting back staffing might not be the first thing to do. Um, I agree that um, cutting back on some of the programs would not align really with the value statement, which is to improve the health of the community. I also like that you added that if the facility continues to have financial losses, we again might be having to do several more cutbacks. Um, these cutbacks could create an ethical conflict within the facility and with would not align at all with its current mission statement. Some of these cuts suggested, do actually go against the current mission statement. So we might have to change our mission statement, which would be changing our whole philosophy with this with Hillsdale. I agree with you that staffing, this is the other one. I agree with you, staffing should not be the first to cut. I agree with you that looking at maybe a supply chains, resubmission of unpaid paid claims, relook at billing captures, and renegotiating with insurance companies to get better rates is something we should be doing. This will help to address some of the problems that are causing some of the financial strains on the center. According to the case study, it's not the workforce that's changed recently, but it's the financial aspects of care. I know at our facility we reevaluated having a partnership with Humana. Originally, we were not on their list of providers, but however, that has proved to be uh, complicated and also profitable at this point. I also like your idea of not replacing staff who are leaving. So instead of cutting the staff that are there that want to stay there, when the staff leave, we just don't replace them. Instead, we divide up their workload and the responsibilities, especially when it comes to administration. Administration is always, and on a couple recent articles I did read, administration is still one of the high costs of healthcare as well. This may not be possible though with direct care or bedside staffing. The one thing I have seen though is other facilities, especially with nursing, where they assign nursing managers to work the bedside on average about 2 days a week. I've seen 1 to 3, I've seen 2, I've seen 1, I've seen 3. So on the average, about 2 days a week. This helps to fill the voids and make sure that we have direct care staff or bedside staff. This also helps the manager to be able to see what's going on at different levels in the facility. Now, down to your question, you had asked if there were if we've experienced any type of downsizing or right sizing. Sorry. I've been through two different types of right sizing. One is where an older nurse manager retired. Um, there was an extensive analysis on how to replace her. However, in the end, it was decided to have another nurse manager absorb the retired nurse's responsibilities. The other nurse manager was given $2 an hour, $2 an hour raise, and the facility fared much better financially as it was only then paying for the extra $2 an hour to the one nurse manager and no longer had to supply the salary of the other nurse manager. Also, another sad note, recently we had to close an entire unit secondary to the lack of staff in our long-term care facility. And that was because insurance companies are just not wanting to pay for long-term care, and people can't afford to pay it out of pocket. The Medicare is not paying like it used to, and Medicaid only steps in when there's certain requirements that are met. We are having difficulty keeping the census. We had one unit. We were having difficulty keeping the census up on the one unit after we lost several patients to COVID complications. And of course, this was before the vaccine, and we have still had problems keeping that unit up on the census. A few times it's been full census, but not very often. We are also losing direct care staff quickly because of COVID burnout. Staff are just tired, they can't wear the PPE anymore, and they just need a break. So we were losing staff, and no staff that were coming, and there were no staff that are coming in to replace the staff who quit. Most recently, though, we did suffer a hit. We lost 20 different staff members secondary to the COVID-19 vaccine mandate. Despite all the education and everything we put out, and what we tell the staff was, we don't have to like your choice, but we do respect it. So unfortunately, though, 20 staff members did have to, are no longer employed at our facility. And that made it impossible to staff all the units, even with the staffing we had and making cuts. So we did have to make the decision about 2 months ago to close a 20-bed unit. This was kind of a hard hit for us. It was very emotional for several staff members to have their patients transferred to other facilities. Very emotional also for the patients and their family members. We were able to keep a couple inside, in-house, and transferred to different rooms as beds became available on different units, but there was not too many of those. And some of the nurses who have also been on that unit for many years also had to adjust. It was very hard, but in the end, everybody understood why we had to do it. Again, Andrew, thank you for your post.